of US law, it had not been adjudicated upon. And so we took the view that the right thing to do was to continue to support XRP until the courts had adjudicated upon it, because until that moment, as a matter of law, XRP was not a security. And that stance was actually vindicated. And I seem to recall that, there was a long sort of 2-year period. And at some point, the SEC came under a lot of criticism because all of the US exchanges had delisted XRP and effectively caused detriment to US consumers. And the SEC said when they were attacked for this, we never asked the exchanges to delist XRP. And so that also vindicated our position at the time and gave us comfort. So that's the reason we're very proud and feel vindicated that we did support it for that 2-year period. And it's been very gratifying this year to see the US courts basically reject the majority of the SEC's complaints against Ripple.
Hey, what's going on, Bull Runners? Welcome back to the channel. Ryan Huggins here, aka Win with Ryan. Imagine waking up to your crypto portfolio down 10% overnight, wondering if that $1.8 billion wipeout yesterday was the end of the bleed, or is it just the start of something bigger, leaving over-leveraged dreams in the dust. It's the kind of chaos that keeps even seasoned traders up at night, especially in a September that's already testing nerves with Bitcoin hovering around 112,000 and the whole market cap shaved by $150 billion. But here's the quiet shift that you might have missed. While the flush out shakes out all of the weak hands, Wall Street giants like BlackRock and Van Eck are quietly wiring in Ripple stablecoins as a 24/7 escape hatch for their tokenized funds, and lawmakers are knocking on the SEC's doors to unlock $12.5 trillion retirement jackpot, turning yesterday's pain into tomorrow's flood of fresh capital. Plus, we're going to be heading over to X to find out all the breaking news that's happening in the financial world today. We're going to head over to Altcoin Pro and take a look at BlackRock and Van Eck tokenizing with RLUSD. And in the past 24 hours, $1.8 billion was liquidated. We're going to head over to Forex Factory and check out the red folder news that you need to know about today. And we are going to be jumping back into the charts, looking for important areas of resistance and support that you need to know about right now. Plus, we're going to look at our long-term and short-term momentum waves and so much more in today's video. So if you're like most people where you don't have the opportunity to do hours of crypto research every day, well, that's what we do for you every day on this channel. So make sure you subscribe right now. And if you are still feeling bullish about this current bull run, let me know by commenting 777 down below. First things first, let's head over to CoinMarketCap. Check out the overall health of the crypto market right now. $3.89 trillion total market cap. We have had $161 billion worth of volume in the last 24 hours. Fear and greed at 40, just barely hanging on to the neutral zone. Altcoin season 69 out of 100. We did just clips over that 75 for just a couple of days. Unfortunately, it was short-lived. However, Bitcoin dominance not rebounding very much thus far. Still in the 57 percentile. We should be seeing this drop to 56 percentile shortly if there is going to be a real life altcoin season. Bitcoin ETF tracker this week is starting off horrifically. We are down $369 million in the Bitcoin ETF, and we are down $76 million in the Ethereum ETF. Top 6 cryptos ranked by total market cap. Bitcoin number 1 at 112,800. Ethereum number 2 at 4190. Number 3 is Tether, taking out XRP for that number 3 spot. It's going to be a battle over the next couple of days, but at $1 for Tether. Number 4, XRP at $2.87. BNB at number 5 at $1,023, and Solana at number 6 at $219. Heading over to Forex Factory, we do actually have some decent news for the markets this morning. Flash manufacturing PMI was lower than expected, forecasted at 52.2, came in at 52, just slightly under. So it's nothing major or exciting for the markets necessarily, but it is good news. And the same thing with Flash services PMI. Same scenario here, forecasted at 54, came in at 53.9. Now, coming up later on this afternoon, we are going to have Fed Chair Powell speaking. Let's see what kind of volatility he creates in the markets. Wednesday, nothing to talk about. But Thursday, we're going to have our biggest, most important day for Red Folder News. We have the GDP numbers for quarter over quarter and unemployment claims. Right now, GDP forecasted at 3.3 and unemployment claims coming in at 233,000. All the breaking news over on X. First and foremost, we got All In Crypto posting Uphold's video here. Uphold CEO Simon McLaughlin on deciding to not delist XRP during Ripple's battle with the SEC, Gary Gensler, and to instead show support for the token. And as a matter of law, XRP was not a security. And what's really interesting, if you follow Uphold, by the way, they're always bull posting for XRP. I mean, look at this post, like their number one post that was pinned from September 8th. Automate your wallet, stack XRP. So I know for a lot of people out there that were holding XRP that had to go through that pain, it was very difficult because you weren't able to have very many exchanges that you could even deal with XRP on. But Uphold was there through thick and thin. The biggest news out there today for XRP and Ripple combining is going to be that the fact that Securitize is partnering with Ripple, which we've already known that they've partnered in the past, but they're going to be enabling RLUSD to transfer for BlackRock's BULLRUNNERS and VanEck's VBull tokenized funds, which is absolutely incredibly massive. BULLRUNNERS and VBull, two of the largest tokenized treasury funds, gain 24/7 instant exchange via RLUSD powered by Securitize. And this is by far the biggest thing that's happening for Ripple and XRP and RLUSD today. We got Brad Garlinghouse Bull posting about it as well. Very excited to share BlackRock's BULLRUNNERS and VanEck's VBull tokenized funds holders can redeem shares of RLUSD ETH 24/7, 365 through Securitize, and soon to come to RLUSD XRPL. Enterprise grade instant on-chain liquidity at your fingertips. This is real utility. And this is what everyone who supports XRP, who supports Ripple, what they're building. Because as soon as this does launch on the XRPL, which right now it's only on the ETH blockchain, but we will start to see XRP being burned for every single transaction that's going on. And we also have Monica Long, the president of Ripple, also coming out saying last week we announced the DBS in Franklin Templeton was using RLUSD as a liquid, stable, and compliant exchange mechanism for tokenized assets and leading and trading use cases. Well, this week, add on top of that, Securitize added RLUSD as a new off-ramp for BlackRock and VanEck. Also, giving out a huge congratulations to Brad Garlinghouse, saying, I feel so lucky for so many reasons, and marrying Tara this past weekend takes the cake. This next chapter of life is so much sweeter. So it's interesting, Brad Garlinghouse on an absolute tear for September. Obviously, the price not doing well, but it was Ripple's 13th birthday. He did go on to get married. We didn't have the huge announcement for DBS and Franklin Templeton, and now we have the BlackRock and VanEck. Like, this is probably the most epic, game-changing month for the life of Brad Garlinghouse. And as a bonus for the crypto market, U.S. lawmakers asked the SEC to implement President Trump's executive order opening $12.5 trillion of the 401k retirement market to crypto. So as you know, the United States right now was really limited to the way that you could actually invest in crypto for your 401ks or your retirements. Basically, the main place to do that was I Trust Capital. So check this out.
Do you love crypto, but are you worried about taxes shrinking your retirement nest egg? Here's the deal. Trading and selling crypto can trigger capital gains taxes, eating into your wealth. A crypto IRA fixes that. Per IRS publication 590B, traditional IRA gains like those from crypto aren't taxed until distributed. That's why we've partnered with I Trust Capital, a leading crypto IRA company in the USA, to sponsor today's video. And they offer institutional grade custody for retail clients that want to set up their crypto IRAs for retirement, leveraging top storage solutions like Fidelity, Wells Fargo, and Coinbase Prime to keep your assets secure. To get started, simply click the link in the description of this video, sign up for free, and fund your account with cash. They also offer 401k rollovers or crypto transfers, and you can trade 24/7 with just 1% transaction fees and no maintenance costs. As always, I'm not a CPA or financial advisor, so consult one for tax advice, and we do earn a commission if you sign up using our link below to fund your crypto IRA account, but that helps support value-based videos like this. And iTrust Capital already has over 200,000 crypto IRA accounts and over $14 billion in transactions, proving they're trusted by smart investors just like you. So click the link below, get started now by funding your account today, and let's create generational wealth together.
And in another positive play for the United States economy, Scott Bessent and the IRS have officially moved forward with implementing the no tax on tips, ensuring that tipped occupations become eligible to take $25,000 deduction every year. By the way, if you'd like to leave a tip for the channel, you can do that down below. While you're there, make sure you smash the subscribe and make sure you smash the thumbs up as well.
The one big, beautiful bill solidified the largest tax cut in our history for our nation's workers. Among other groundbreaking reforms, the bill codified no tax on tips. This historic tax break will ensure that America's working families keep more of their hard-earned income. I have a personal appreciation for tipped workers, having been one myself. When I was in my youth, I took my first job as a busboy. When I was just 9 years old, I cleared tables at a local cafeteria and set up chairs and umbrellas at a beach nearby, and I depended on tips for a significant portion of my income. To this day, tens of millions of Americans depend on tips to feed their families, pay their rent, and make ends meet. And President Trump wants to make life easier for all of them. On Labor Day, I was out at diners and restaurants meeting with some great servers to remind them of President Trump's exciting new provision. To that end, the one big beautiful bill will allow millions of qualified employees to claim a deduction of up to $25,000 each year on their tip income.
Heading over to Altcoin Pro University. By the way, if you like getting nonstop news about crypto, there's a link down in the description which links to our Altcoin Pro University, help educate you on crypto. Plus, we have altcoin picks, DeFi yield picks, airdrop information. Click that link down in the description below. Give it a run. 14-day money-back guarantee. But this is in the crypto news section over there. I posted this morning. RLUSD's off-ramp for BlackRock and Van Eck. Now, we've covered this a little bit, but let's go into the details here. So Ripple and Securities have partnered to integrate RLUSD as an off-ramp for tokenized funds on BlackRock and Van Eck. This will enable investors to instantly exchange shares of BlackRock's USD Institutional Digital Liquid Fund, or BULLDL, and Van Eck's Treasury Bill Fund, VBIL, for RLUSD through a smart contract facilitating seamless on-chain transfers and improved liquidity for tokenized real-world assets. So the key details here is RLUSD, Ripple's stablecoin, which was launched in 2025 for institutional use, now approved for projects like Dubai's real estate tokenization. And now we got all of these additional programs coming on top of RLUSD. We also have Securities, who manages $4 billion in tokenized real-world assets and collaborated with Ripple to bring traditional finance and crypto. And then we have BlackRock's BULLDL, which was launched in 2024. It exceeded $1 billion in assets under management within a year. And Van Eck's VBIL debuted in May of 2025, supporting USDC and USD for fees returns across multiple blockchains. And this initiative aims to expand adoption via further partnerships, emphasizing RLUSD's regulatory compliance and enterprise utility to connect TradFi and blockchain ecosystem. Now, why does this matter? Well, it's simple because it bridges the gap between old school finance and crypto. BlackRock and Van Eck aren't just dipping toes, they're building plumbing for trillions in real world assets to flow on chain. For you, it means more institutional money could stabilize the market, making dips like yesterday's less scary, and RLUSD to go for it. Now, Ripple's CEO called it an enterprise-grade utility for a reason. This isn't fluff. It's kind of the plumbing that could pump XRP's ecosystem too. So if you're holding tokenized stuff or eyeing stablecoins, watch for adoption spikes here. Now, unfortunately, yesterday, crypto liquidations did hit $1.8 billion. Is this the final flush, or are we going to be seeing more to drop? Over 370,000 traders got wrecked yesterday as leveraged positions vaporized to the tune of $1.8 billion. It's the biggest long liquidation event of 2025 so far. Bitcoin dipped below 112,000 on Coinbase, Ethereum under 4150, and altcoins took the hardest hit with over 83% of the damage. Market cap was down $150 billion, which was down the lowest it was in 2 weeks. Real Vision founder Raul Paul said this is the same thing that happens all the time, adding the crypto market is focused on a big breakout, gets leveraged long ahead of it. It fails on the first attempt, so everyone gets liquidated. Only then does the actual breakout occur, leaving everyone sidelined. As you can see, largest long position wipeout of 2025. Here is the actual chart for 2025. And this is a massive volume spike of liquidations, significantly over anything that we've seen all year. Now, if this is the final flush, then we're primed for October rebounds, especially with the Fed rate cut whispers. For everyday holders, it's a reminder, ditch the leverage if you're not ready for the whip. Is there more to come? Well, possibly if Bitcoin tests the 103 support, but fundamentals look solid. Heading over to TradingView to take a look at what is going on in the market. So a couple of things that we were prepared for that we've been talking about now for weeks, because we were on the positive side of it when we had our full moon pressure moon rise to the upside. Well, we knew coming weeks ahead that the new moon was going to give us some bearish energy. Well, we saw bearish energy leading into it. The day of the new moon, it was bearish. And the day after, we had that significant flush to the downside, even dipping just a tad below the area of our short-term support level that we talked about for the actual supply demand zone. So what are we looking for right now? Well, what we talked about, the biggest positive thing we could see would be a hold in between these zones. So if we could get consolidation in between the level of $3 to $2.75 here without a free fall to the lower levels, because if you remember, the lower levels gets us to $2.30 if we get some real bearish energy. But if we were able to consolidate sideways over the next couple of days, we then have our new full moon, which will be happening on October 6th. The other thing we were keeping a very close eye on was the fact that we had this symmetrical triangle pattern playing out, and it did have the breakout, but it did not come back and retest that trend line. Well, that is exactly what we said might end up happening. And sure enough, it did come back, unfortunately, retested that zone. It also hit into our supply and demand zone here, which the buyers were there for sure. As we can see, yesterday's candle, it dipped significantly hard. The bulls were there to buy it back up. The bulls are trying to make that push to the upside right now. But like I said, we have new moon energy, and it is typically very bearish historically. I mean, you can go back over time where we see the new moon leading into a full moon pop. Now, we might have something like we saw here with a new moon hit, couple of days fail, then we surge to the upside, because leading into the end of the month for September, we do have the FTX liquidity coming back, $6 billion worth of money's coming back. We do have a Trump announcement coming out very soon to let us know something in the crypto market is going to be very positive. Then on Thursday, we also have the GDP numbers coming out, and we also have the unemployment claims. If that's all positive, we could see a move to the upside in this range. The main thing that I'm looking for right now is the fact that our long-term momentum wave has dipped back bearish, unfortunately, under the zero line. So as you can see, it has turned red again. Last time we did turn red, which was back here on August 20th, we did have a push down, and then it moved into the new moon energy and then dropped off to the downside. We also have our short-term momentum wave has reset down to the zero line. Midterm momentum wave is coming down as well. So we've got a lot of bearish energy signals here. If we can just maintain price in this zone as opposed to crashing, we're going to be looking real strong. As we can see here, this is what we were talking about on our spider lines a couple of weeks ago. When this trend line was starting to develop, price was starting to rise. We did bounce right off of our spider line here at the $3.14 range, came back, retested off that. And then we had drawn this line right here when we were sitting here back on September 20th, that there was a potential of coming back and retesting the zone and then flying off into the future. That is what we are hoping we can get. Going back to the upside, we do have some serious pressure to fight against in this $2.92 spider line. Then we have all of our moving averages, which we're now bearish below. So we have the 50, 30, and the 10 exponential moving average. This is on the daily time frame, by the way. So very difficult to push through here. Then we're going to have a resistance at our 304 and then our resistance at 315. ultimately finally getting us back to that 327, 325 rate. Now, once we can break out and clear from there, the next level of interference we're going to have is that $3.30. So when we switch back to our supply and demand zones chart that we have here, this is that $2.07 range that we have to break out of. And then we get up into here, which is that 330. Now, once we do clear these 330 ranges and we start to break out to new all-time highs, here's our weekly resistance lines that we were talking about. We have to break the bodied candle closes, right? So this body candle close was where we needed to break. And unfortunately, we didn't hit it. We had those nice pushes to the upside, but 2 weeks in a row, the bears did buy this back down. And that is that level here at $3.02. We didn't have a candle body close above that range. Once we then move to the next levels, 315 on the weekly body close, and then we have the ultimate level, $3.45 candle body close on the weekly, because that would get us into territories where we're going to have price discovery. As we saw what happened right here when this weekly candle broke, that was the biggest surge of the time that got us these new all-time highs. So let's talk about levels to the downside, because we haven't really covered that. So horizontal line, we're going to go right here. These are weekly candle body closes that we could use as support, which is at $2.75 level. Let's go ahead and close this or change this color. After that, we have these candle bodies right here that we're going to be able to use as well. So these are our two support levels on traditional support and resistance, 275, and then we have the 260. If we go ahead and flash back to our spider lines chart here, if for some reason we continue this bearish energy, we do have a spider line that comes in for us at 258. And then if we switch to logarithmic, as we can see right here, this was the line that we held last time as support. So it was back on August 3rd, it was support for us here at $2.75, then 275 cents again with candle body closes on September 1st. And now we get a wick down into that level. So the very most important thing that I need for XRP to do right now is to get some bullish energy back into it on the daily charts, start to make its move back to the upside. We need to break above this $2.98 because that would get us back bullish above the 50, 30, and 10 exponential moving averages. And then that would allow the energy of our long-term momentum to just do a quick little dip and rip back to the upside, which we have seen in the past. So if you remember, we had this break to the upside. This was back in April, and it came back down and just tested under the zero line for a day and then ripped back to the upside. So as we see right here, price was surging up, came back down, dipped below, and then it made its move to the upside. But the main thing I'm focusing on right now, besides the daily energy being bullish again, is that we do not lose this level down here of supply and demand below $2.70, $2.69. Because if we lose that with the candle body close, it could get really dangerous down to $2.30 during this new moon negative energy. So I want to see ourselves hang out in this level here, about $3. If it can consolidate in this $3 range, as opposed to dropping, that's very, very bullish for us. It'd be a reset. Now, we have a long time to wait, really, because it's October 5th. So we'll see how this plays out. The beautiful thing is, if we get some anomaly and we start to push to the upside during new moon energy, leading into the next full moon, we could see some real moves to the upside.
Hey, bull runners, check this out. If you want to learn how to find the next 10x, 50x, or even 100x altcoin in this video, listen to this. Our research team posted GOAT on the 13th of October of 2024 when it was right at a penny, and since then it rallied to over $1 and is currently still up over 5,000%. That's like turning $1,000 into over $50,000. Our team called Pendle at only a $16 million market cap, or 16 cents, back on February 18th of 2023, all the way back here, and since then it's rallied up over 4,000%. That's a 40x. It's like turning $1,000 into over $40,000. Our team also called BitTensor Tau September 15th, 2022, before the token was ever even launched. And since then, Tau has rallied over 2,000%. That's a 20x. Our team even said Solana is most likely to be one of the easiest trades next year, and this was posted December 29th, 2022, on the day that Solana bottomed out at around $8. And since then, Solana looks like it's up over 2,500%. That's a 25x. It's like turning $1,000 into over $25,000. and the bull run is just getting started. The list goes on and on and on. Our team called Sui, Ondo, and even some of the biggest cult-based meme coins like MOG back in July 20th of 2023, the day that MOG launched. So if you want to learn how our team is finding these altcoins before they explode, we just launched Altcoin Pro University, where our research team gives you real-time altcoin picks with explosive potential for this bull run, along with 100+ expert curated classes crafted by industry experts to discover these gems yourself, on top of our live weekly calls every single week for in-depth crypto market analysis and daily updates. And that's just a fraction of what we offer inside of Altcoin Pro University. Just go through the link in the description below, get in right now, watch the 26-minute video covering everything that Altcoin Pro University offers,